Oh, hey. Well, this is awkward, but I'm kinda in the middle of something. Excuse me.
Kunda. Estrada. Honda.
New Evil Dead Rise came out, and I need someone to watch it with me. So sit down, shut up, and let's get spooky. Evil Dead Rise is the most recent Evil Dead movie. I said I was going to review it in my last review of The Pope's Exorcist, and here I am, doing exactly what I said I was going to do. Happy? No? Oh well, I have something for that.
Face on this, motherfucker!
Am I being too violent and less funny? Well, that's the name of the game for the recent Evil Dead entries these days. Ever since Evil Dead 2013 came out, it acted as a kind of buffer for me for the transition into what seems like a different kind of Evil Dead. It's possible that they are gonna tie in all of the movies, shows, comics, games, whatevers together in the end, but somehow I doubt it. We may never see the wisecracking, lucky son of a bitch Ash chainsawing Deadites to pieces despite all of our constant praise and worship of the guy.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Let's try to stop pissing tears, as John Ralphio would say, and just accept that the Evil Dead series is now much more serious. You can not like it all you want. Hell, I had a hard time enjoying Evil Dead 2013 because of it. But now that Evil Dead Rise is here, I'm becoming more and more comfortable with the idea. Right now, let's talk without spoilers. Evil Dead Rise takes place mostly in an apartment complex or loft or whatever it's called, and it focuses on a small family. A mom, 3 kids, and a visiting aunt. Without going into spoilers, they get their hands on the Necronomicon and summon some Deadites. That's pretty much how all Evil Dead movies are. It's not Evil Dead without 1, the book, 2, Deadites. Normally the third condition is Ash, but we're gonna have to move on from that. And that's pretty much the whole movie. Even if I did talk spoilers, this movie is very simplistic, and I am super okay with that.
You serious, Clark?
Honestly, I have 0 issues with the whole movie being shot in one location. I have 0 issues with a smaller cast. I have 0 issues with mothers laughing as they rip their children to pieces.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I liked this movie. I liked it a lot. My expectations were, I hope it'll be a bloody good time. And that's exactly what I got. Evil Dead was never a super deep series, so I never expected it to be. I said in the Pope's Exorcist review that it seems like our only hope for good possession films these days are the Evil Dead ones, because all the other ones are just so generic and always miss the mark. The Deadites have so much personality because they are malicious in nature, they don't feel much pain, and they are insanely infectious, which just ups their threat level to 11. The acting is good, but there isn't much of it. So if you can be scared or malicious, you'd be a perfect addition to the Evil Dead franchise. The standout of this movie is definitely the youngest sister, Cassie. She's quirky, likable, helpful, even makes me wish I had a daughter, or at least a human one. My most recent daughter... The less said about her, the better. Rotten Tomatoes critics gave this an 84 and audiences a 77. I'm going with the critics. This will probably make my list for one of the best horror movies of 2023. Is it a super scary movie? No, but it's violent, bloody, and there be monsters. Such a fun ride. Now let's go into some spoilers. The movie starts off with a cabin in the woods scene. Seems familiar. We get a scary chase scene of a fast-moving object combing through the forest. Seems more familiar. We close in on a girl reading a book by the docks and the object nearly hits her in the face. Oh, turns out it's just a drone.
You clever bitch.
A douchebag boyfriend comes out and scares his girlfriend's friend off the dock who was just minding her own business reading a book. Serves you right, nerd. She goes back inside the cabin to check on her sick friend who isn't looking too hot, but, you know, you still would. The nerd sits back down and continues reading her book, and her sick friend starts reading from the pages that she's on, but she can't see the book. Uh-oh. The friend convulses and starts spitting up white goo, and the friend goes over to help her out, but little does she know how much easier it is to scalp a person when they have their hair done up in a ponytail, and when one quick jerk, her new dead-eyed friend rips off all her hair.
This just got awesome.
She runs out to the dock and the boyfriend freaks out. Girlfriend follows and takes his drone and chops up her own face with it and then jumps into the lake. Captain Dipshit Boyfriend tries to be a hero and jumps in after her to save her, despite the nerdy friend's protest. He gets chopped up underwater, his head is thrown onto the dock, and the Deadite rises out of the water, and we see the title Evil Dead Rise. This is a very solid intro. Definitely got me hooked into the movie, quick, fast, and in a hurry. The screen cuts to black. One day earlier.
Why do you disappoint me? Second by second, you waste my time.
I don't know how many times I have to bitch about this, but I am sure, eventually, a famous Hollywood writer is gonna see my tiny ass YouTube channel and take the hint that you don't have to do this. Maybe a long shot, but a nice like, comment, sub will help get the message out there that these time jump intros are the lazy writers' go-to when they don't know how to start a story with a natural hook. Let's move on. The movie starts off with a character taking a pregnancy test at the bathroom of I could be mistaken, but I think it's the bathroom at an arm wrestling competition. Maybe could have waited until you got to a different spot to better, deal with the results, but maybe that's just me. We then head to an apartment complex where we meet the rest of the main cast. There's the mom, Ellie, children Danny, Bridget, and Cassie. The prego chick from before, Beth, is Ellie's sister and she crashes at their place. The mom is a tattoo artist, Danny is an aspiring DJ, Bridget is an activist. And Beth works the audio gear at concerts. I think it doesn't really matter. Cassie introduces Beth to her new friend that's a baby doll head on a stick named Staphne that will protect the family. Okay, this is obvious foreshadowing, but it was in that single sentence that I predicted that Cassie was going to be the coolest character in the movie. And spoiler alert, she is, but let's move on. Beth brought presents for the whole gang and even something for dear old dad who has been suspiciously missing this whole time. Ellie excuses the kids to go get pizza while she reminds Beth that she is a shitty sister. You see, the thing is, Ellie tried to tell Beth that her husband left her, but Beth was too busy not answering phone calls or texts, and yeah, it's kind of just, when you're shit at communicating, you don't know about things. That's simple. While the kids come back from getting the za, an earthquake happens at the place and messes it up real good. Even the parking garage gets cracked so bad that a hole opens up and reveals a bank vault. Earlier, Cassie tells the local legend of a ghost who had money at the bank that the complex was built over, and you can hear him jiggling his change down the halls looking for his money. Kids this cool are practically an urban legend these days. Anyways, Danny sees this as an opportunity to loot the bank vault for any treasures before anyone else finds out about it. Smart kid. Danny is looking around and sees a ton of religious necklaces, symbols, art pieces. What is this, the vault of the fucking Vatican? Danny grabs a few things, some vinyl records, and underneath a small mountain of bugs, the Necronomicon. Ah, but this one looks different. What could this mean? Means that there is more than one book. Duh.
Nobody said anything about 3 books.
I hear some people are pissed at the way this one looks because it looks really different from the other versions, but if Army of Darkness is canon to this film, then there always was 3 books. We used to think that the 3 books scene was just a gag, but now there's just one main book and 2 lesser books. Ash needed the main one to, doesn't really matter. The kids bring everything back to the apartment and Danny immediately runs into their room and starts to fuck with the book. This one has teeth-like bindings, might be from a demon or something, because the only animal that has teeth like this would be like an anglerfish or something. And I doubt whatever beings who wrote this Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, the book that can summon deadites and other horrors that could easily infect and destroy the world, were wondering what should they use to keep the book closed, and some random asshole was like, I got it! Anglerfish teeth! So Danny fucks with the bindings to get it open and it cuts their finger. Blood drips on the book and it springs open. See, Danny? All you had to do is get it wet.
Giggity. What? Nothing, it's stupid.
The book is filled with some pretty graphic artwork, to which Danny switches gear and starts playing the vinyl. First one describes the book, second one reads a passage from the book, and when shit starts to get too real, Danny switches off the power. But it's too late. Nothing is stopping those words from being spoken. And wouldn't you know it, the mom is in the elevator when she gets clotheslined by the invisible spirit that turns her into the first Deadite. The power goes out at the place and Ellie makes it back in time to make the world's shittiest omelet before telling the kids that a perfect dream of hers would be to cut them open and climb inside their bodies so they could be one happy family. She then throws up white goo, drops the pan of bloody eggs, and dies. Worst mom ever. They try to move the body outside because no phones work, but thanks to the power being shit, the elevator is fucked and the stairwell is destroyed because of the earthquake. The mom comes back to life and the fam tries to give her a bath. While she's having a nice soak, she decides to serenade the room. You know, like the Little Mermaid. She turns on the fam, of course. She's able to cut her face with a tattooed needle and cuts it into Bridget's face. Not so easy as a hand to cut off, is it? They're able to get the mom outside of the apartment where she messes up her neighbors in the hallway, and we see the whole thing through a peephole. Nice touch. Inside the apartment, Bridget turns because of the cut. I wonder if Ellie had to get her blood onto the needle. Then into Bridget's face to turn her, because that would make it less infectious than the original movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Ash's girlfriend or sister get stabbed in the leg with a pencil and turned solely off of that? Side note, so far, when Ellie and Bridget have turned, the book opens up and shows us what kind of demon they have turned into. Another nice touch. Meanwhile, Beth listens to the third vinyl alone with headphones on. Pretty smart. She's trying to see if there is a way to kill the creatures or save them or something. Oh, sorry, Beth. You gotta chop them up. Other than that, you have to go to some pretty extreme lengths to undo the Deadite possession. Unless you're that chick from the Army of Darkness and you just have to defeat your evil skeleton twin, and I think that only turned her back because she was turned Deadite by a kiss. I don't know. There's a lot of random shit in Evil Dead. Moving on. Bridget vomits all over Danny, and Danny turns, but Danny doesn't get their own page in the book, just a basic-ass Deadite. Ha! Sucks to suck. Meanwhile, the mom gets in the room with Beth and starts playing the vinyl through her mouth, which is pretty cool, but Beth wastes no time and sticks her with a screwdriver, but Ellie, the Deadite, is a pro and just takes that shit like a champ without flinching and knocks Beth across the room. Bridget gets staff-kneed in the mouth by Cassie, Ellie gets scissors through the nose, and Beth and Cassie book it the fuck out of there. They make it to the elevator with a neighbor's shotgun, blow off half the limbs of Ellie, and everyone in the hallway wakes up and cries out, "Dead by dawn!"
Dead by dawn! Dead by dawn!
Dead by dawn!
And we get our last creature feature, a multiple armed mass of an abomination made up of Ellie and her 2 kids. Side note, I was surprised that they killed off 2 of the 3 kids in this film. Surprised in a good way. Beth and Cassie get the elevator closed. Meanwhile, Creature Ellie gets into the vents. The elevator fills up with blood and fucking hell, Beth and Cassie just can't catch a break here, can they? It reaches weight capacity and crashes onto the bottom floor and the doors burst open. This feels familiar. Nah, drawing a blank. Beth and Cassie make it to the garage. Creature Ellie joins them. Beth gets her hand on a chainsaw and is able to get Creature Ellie in front of a wood chipper and chainsaws her head into the wood chipper. The most unrealistic part of this scene is the idea of an apartment complex being okay with someone parking their wood chipper in one of their parking spots.
Bullshit!
Now, by this point of the movie, you might be wondering, if only Beth and Cassie survived, who the fuck is the chick at the beginning in the cabin? Oh, don't worry, there's a last-minute scene where someone enters into the parking garage, freaks out about the blood, and gets hit by the evil spirit, and that answers the question of how the holy hell did the intro of this movie connect to the rest of this movie. Lazy. This is a lazy way to tie up that loose end. Any other loose ends on y'all's minds? How about the 6 Deadites in the hallway? The Creature Ellie's only made up of her and her kids. We know that because there were only 3 heads. So all of the other people in the apartment complex are totally fucked. Then the next few blocks, the city, state, continent. Unless Ash comes out of retirement to fuck some shit up.
Yo, she bitch. Let's go.
Despite my last few comments, this movie was a lot of fun. I do have a little bit of criticism of the very end. Yeah, Creature Ellie was kind of taken out way too easily. They should have kept some other human characters alive so she could have killed them to kind of up her, I guess, fear level or intimidation level or threat level, but that didn't really happen. So it's just kind of, I mean, I love the creature, don't get me wrong, but it's just, yeah, you know. I hope we get more sequels, because I am totally fine with this new track that Evil Dead is on. Is it the best? Well, I'm always going to miss the slapstick comedy of the previous films and TV show, but this latest movie may not have had a lot of ha-ha funny moments, but that didn't keep it from being fun. Cassie is an obvious highlight, again, as being way cooler than anyone at that age would actually be.
You'd be a good mom someday, honey pie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know how to lie to kids.
Another highlight to go over is the creature Ellie at the end. I'm an obvious sucker for monsters, and when we first got a slight glimpse of this thing, I fell in love. I may have to meet that one in person to, you know. Don't forget to stay spooky.